if I don't record things. But when we were sitting in this dark cave with no light at all, and you open your eyes and like there's just nothing. And for a moment, you can see how people could go mad, like just the craziness of trying to see and not seeing. But once you surrender to that and kind of draw inward to this pratyahara that I was talking about, it can be this really beautiful experience. And um, like I said, I think pratyahara kind of hides in our yoga practice because we don't fully remove our senses ever, right? And thankfully, like we can all see. I think I am, Paula. Gotcha. um, yeah, we have the choice to use our senses if we're lucky. If we have all of our senses working, we have choice to open them up and experience the world, and close them down and refrain, kind of turn inward. And what a beautiful gift to be able to flow in the use of our senses. True gratitude for the way we perceive our exterior world. But when it's taken away from you and you can't have that, it's an enforcement of pratyahara. So in that kind of situation where you're going to get your sight back, it's a beautiful thing to try to work within that pratyahara. So I don't have, we're not together. Many of you in my physical classes, we've done this where I've taken a blindfold around, or like used ace bandages around your ears and your eyes to do a practice without muffled hearing and less vision. Sometimes you can peek out the bottom, but if you've not experienced that, I would highly recommend trying it sometime. To have a pratyaharic experience like that, to try to do yoga practice without your vision and without some sound. So today and every day on your mat, see what you can do to recognize how your senses are a gift, but they're also a distraction. That oftentimes something, we follow the shiny ball, right? Like we hear something, we see something, we taste something, we smell something, we touch something, and we have a distraction away from that internal meditative state. And our yoga practice gives us an opportunity on so many levels to practice the art of drawing inward, to go inside, to go inside. And for many of us, this is a refuge, but it also can be scary to drop away from the senses and really turn inward. So not that you have to do anything particular in your yoga practice, but to recognize how that kind of sneaks in the back door a little bit in your practice, that perhaps the practices that you remember that are like the really nourishing ones. I think we all have those days on the mat where we feel like we're fed more than others. But the times when you're really truly fed by your practice, notice if pratyahara is part of this experience. And if you do have a meditation practice, notice it there as well. Are some days harder for you to ignore the distractions? Are some days easier for you to tune in? If you have a moment of really drawing inward, is there nourishment there? Is there a little uncomfortableness there? So to just start kind of bringing pratyahara into the light a little bit, to notice and pay attention to how it makes you feel when you feel overstimulated by your senses, and when you maybe feel understimulated by your senses, and the way we can vacillate back and forth in our days by this accord. And I would say that just about everybody is overstimulated in their senses these days. If not one sense, sometimes we're understimulated, like in touch, but we can be overstimulated in our hearing or our vision. So, recognize that too when you need to take like a sensing fast of some kind through the day. All right. Okay, so that's all I want to say about pratyahara, other than it's just really a cool aspect of our yoga practice. And let's try to recognize the gift of it when we are able to kind of draw in. So drop your awareness. Now find a comfortable seat, okay, so that you feel like you can sit for a moment. And then close your eyes. Probably most people feel that their vision is their primary sense. If you had to kind of like rate all your senses down the line of what one you use the most. So as you close your eyes, let's take a moment to put your hands over your eyes to just, it won't create total darkness, but to rest your eyes. And you can bow your head into your hands, or you can lift your hands into your head, whatever is a comfortable way for you to be. Just take a moment to feel all the muscles of your eyes rest, the sensing that your lids have the comfort of your palms. So it's not just about the darkness, but also about the nervous system and the musculoskeletal system that's involved in your sensing through your vision. So see what you can do to melt and let go. And I don't think it's by accident that we close our eyes to sleep. We don't close our ears to sleep. We don't close our nose to sleep or our skin to sleep, but we do close our eyes. So recognize the ease that comes from the lessening of input. Anytime you can remove your hands but keep your eyes closed, you can keep your hands there, whatever is nurturing to you. Just take a moment to rest inward as best as you can. The melting that you're starting to feel around your eyes, see if you can start to let it kind of permeate your brain, your whole skull, through your neck and your jaw and your sinuses and your tongue. Like let the surrender and the softness travel. Notice the connection between the eyes and the muscles at the base of the skull. Can you pay attention to how they help relax each other? Just notice if you have an urge to open your eyes. See if you can resist the urge to open your eyes as best as you can. Scan your body from the inside. So when we remove the external sensing, we heighten the interoception, the inner sensing. So look around and see what's happening inside your body. And by looking, I mean not with your eyes, but with your internal sensing. It's like another form of vision. See what it feels like to breathe, to notice a sense of ease and space where it might live. Where is that living? Where is ease and living? Ease and space living in you. Drop your awareness down, drop your pelvis a little deeper into the earth. And let your spine just gently slit a little bit rise upward. So we're not pushing and pulling, just having space grow. Melt the muscles of your eyes again. Bring your hands together. Let's offer an intention around this pratyahara. What can kind of reducing the input that the world is constantly giving you offer you? What does that do for you, and how can it help you with whatever you're intending? It's the hands. You can open your eyes. And let's come on to our back. So I invite you in your practice today to try to soften your gaze as much as possible. It's the sight is the easiest for us to work with on the mat. Hearing, you can try to tune out sound, um, as much as you can. But let's try to work with that vision as best as you can. So sometimes pratyahara can mean not just kind of detaching from the senses, but it can also mean really enjoying your senses, being aware of your senses instead of taking them for granted. So when you do open your eyes, notice what you're noticing. How does it affect your balance when your eyes are open? How does it affect what you're seeing in your room or in, on your mat? What does what you're seeing affect your mind? How does it change what you're thinking and how you're feeling? Okay, so just try to pay attention. All right, so it's much easier to keep your eyes closed when you're lying down than it is when you're standing up. So maybe this is a good place for you to begin. And always, if you feel the need to open your eyes because of balance or because of safety or just because, it's okay. Don't feel like you have to trap yourself inside the darkness, but dance with it and play with it just a little bit. All right, so as our arms stretch up overhead, maybe a little bit of length through one side and then the other side. Full breaths here. And bring your knees into your chest and let's rock a little bit, swaying from side to side. Breathing deeply. All right, let's circle, rolling your knees in one direction. Rolling them in the other direction, paying attention. As your eyes are closed, is it helping you sense a little bit more? Or is just the eyes closed is it a distraction to you where you're focused on nothing else other than, oh, I want to open my eyes? Okay, so just pay attention as best as you can to what's happening in the body. Increase your interoception by decreasing your perception of the outside world. All right, right knee into your chest, left leg long on the ground. Give a good squeeze and let's roll around in your ankles. Remember that the eyes don't just shut from the lids, but they turn off by the muscles relaxing too. So pay attention to the base of your skull, the muscles around and behind your eyes. Change directions, left knee in, right leg long on the ground, move about again, wiggling your fingers and your toes, definitely your toes, maybe not your fingers. Feeling a little bit of an ankle roll. And then stretch out big and wide, feeling that big open space. And then exhale, knees into your chest, snug up a little tight hug. Twice more, finding that star on the ground where we get big and wide. And then exhale, drawing in knees to your chest. Chin can come up. One more time. Feeling really large and big and spacious. Then exhale, feeling small and snug. And then put your head down, arms straight out to the side like a T, feet on the ground. Let your feet touch the mat and notice the sensation of the sole under the soles of your feet. And it's interesting how that sensation was there all along, but we're paying attention to it. So does it feel more exquisite, the feeling of the soles of your feet barefoot on your mat? All right, and then let's go ahead and rock to and fro. Sometimes we can get used to things, like the sound of your fridge or your heater in your house. You don't even pay attention to it, and then you only notice the sounds that are unusual. And same with the sensations in the body. When we're just going about our business all the time, we can forget how great it is to be in touch with the body. Let's take a little deeper twist here. We're going to straighten your left leg, right knee into your chest. Cross your right knee over to the left and open up across your chest. Only go as far as your spine wants to twist. Open up across your chest, reaching into that right hand. Maybe your head turns to the right if it's comfortable to do so. How are you doing with the eyes closed? Can you just let them rest? And then back to center. Let's switch sides. Right leg straightens, left knee into your chest. Cross that left leg over. Don't go too far. Let your chest open up, turn your head to the left. Enjoy your breath here. And then come back out of that twist. Stretch to a star on the ground. One more time, a big movement, and then exhale, knees into your chest. Let's roll to our side. Resist the urge to open your eyes if you can. Come up onto all fours. Also, if you open your eyes, don't beat yourself up. Okay, so this is just play. This is just experimenting. This is just noticing things. There's no rules or expectations. There's no A+ on a test. There's no prize at the end. It's just an exploration for you. All right, so let's move through some cat cows. If you want to keep your eyes closed, try it. See if you can resist a little bit of that temptation. If you feel like you need to open your eyes, by all means, but just dance around that a little bit and pay attention to maybe the uncomfortableness that arises from keeping your eyes shut when you're used to opening them. Hey, how's your spine feel in this cat cow? How's your breath? And then move the posture around any way you want. Moving your ribs, your head, your neck, your shoulders, your hips. Move your breath. Drop back towards child's pose. Take your knees as far apart as you want them to be and walk the hands forward. Feel your sit bones drop down toward your heels and just open up the ribs. Nothing that we do is going to be unusual. We're going to have a very common practice so that there's not a lot of challenge to understanding what we're doing, so that you can really pay attention to the softening of your senses. Walk the hands over to one side or the other and open up through the ribs. See what it feels like to settle the hips back down toward the pelvis. Relax your skull. Fill up your breath and empty it out. And then walk your hands over to the other side. Feeling into that openness in your ribs. Enjoy this. Let the base of your skull relax deeply. And come back to center. Onto all fours again, moving around if you want. Let's lift the left arm up in the air, feeling your chest open, and then slide that arm underneath. Twisting. Gaze toward the ground, shoulders away from the ears. Notice where your breath travels. Inhale, reach that arm up in the air. How are you doing with the eyes closed? Is it uncomfortable at all? And place that hand down. Let's switch sides. Lift the other arm up. Exhale, slide that arm underneath. Relax your head. Let your inner gaze turn down toward the ground, melting the eyes, feeling the ribs open as you breathe. Inhale, reach that arm all the way up in the air. Hand comes down onto the ground. Curl your toes under and let's find dog pose. Hands and feet, you've got lots of points of contact on the ground. So even if you open your eyes for a moment, feel free to close them back. So, there's no, like I said, you don't have to follow into that Pratyahara state all the time. But it's an invitation to you through the whole practice. All right, so root and rise. Root and rise. Feel your head melt. Make sure you're weighted in your index finger mounds and your thumbs. Make sure you're weighted across the toe beds. Feel that energy of lengthening through your shoulders. So try to let your shoulders lengthen, your shoulder blades move a bit. And then walk your feet forward. Come to Uttanasana, folding deeply. Let your neck dangle. Maybe wag your tail. Interlace your hands at the base of the skull. Just a little bit of pressure. Just a little bit of that down toward the ground, and then drawing your chin toward your chest. All right, and then release that. Come to a halfway lift. You can grab blocks. And when you come to a halfway lift, let's pause here for a moment. Let that blood pressure find its way back to a neutral place a little bit here. Thigh bones back, inner spiral. Feel of your thighs, feel the feet ground, four corners. Once again, can your eyes being closed give you a little more perception of what your hands and your feet are feeling? And then melt again. And let's come all the way up to stand. Bring the arms up to the sky. Maybe your eyes are still closed. Feel yourself in space. Notice that your hands have a really enhanced capacity to sense the world without your vision. Let's open up, lean back a little bit, see what that feels like. Let's cactus, open the arms, palms are out wide. Exhale and round in, forearms to touch. Inhale, arms up to the sky, leaning back a little bit. Let's cactus, open the arms, and then bring them forward to touch, chin to chest. Inhale, arms coming high. Exhale, a swan dive forward, folding. Relax your neck, feel your back open up. Inhale for a halfway lift. Melt again. And let's step back to dog pose. See what it feels like. Open your eyes for any need that you have. Close them when you're ready. Find your way, yielding into the ground, that rooting and rising. Inhale, come forward into a plank. Hold yourself steady. Notice how different your practice is when you're not paying attention to what you're seeing. When you do open your eyes, notice the change that happens from having your vision available. And just, play with that dance of a little time open, a little time shut. Knees down onto the ground, find the earth. Roll the shoulders a few times so you can really feel that movement. And then inhale for a cobra pose. The chest opens big and wide. Exhale and melt to come back down. One more time. Shoulders back, big open breath. Exhale, relaxing toward the ground. Come up onto all fours. Wag your tail, roll in your shoulders, move your head back towards child's pose. Settle your hips down toward your heels here. Breathing deeply. Come up to dog pose when you're ready. Toes curl under. Feel the giant space in your back body. Spread out your toes. Stretch your heels back toward the wall behind you. Bend down. Lift your sit bones up. Spread the weight of your fingers from your index finger or from your pinky fingers all the way toward your index fingers. Root and then push off to feel the length in your shoulders. Let's walk our feet forward. Come to Uttanasana. Inhale for a halfway lift. Melting and folding. Inhale, rise all the way up. Hands together. How are you doing with your eyes? It's okay if you need to open them every once in a while, but I just invite you, and you can ignore me always, but I invite you to just dance with this Pratyahara. Hands over your eyeballs for a moment. Push just a little teeny bit of weight. You can start at your eyebrows if you want. Give it just a teeny bit of weight into the eyebrows. And just travel a little bit down your eyes. Not a lot of pressure on your eyeballs at all. Just a little bit. Relax your hands. Inhale, arms all the way up. Exhale, folding forward. If you don't know where your blocks are, take a look, find them. A halfway lift. Exhale and release. Let's step our left foot back, coming into a lunge. Place your back knee down on the ground. Start to getting a little more challenging with the eyes closed. Bring your hands up onto your knee. And isn't it amazing? Just start to pay attention to the gratitude we should have for our vision. When your eyes are closed, even this becomes more challenging. And we're not even up on our feet all the way, right? So let's have immense, immense gratitude for the ease in our day because we can see where we're going. Release. And bring the hands to the inside edge of that right knee. Lift your back knee up off the ground. Hands on the ground. The hands can be on blocks too if you need. Wide sit bones. Lengthen through your spine. And then find your blocks. Bring your hands back onto them. Come to a lunge. Bending and straightening the front knee. Finding the pathways in your body. Just open up those hip flexors. Open up the hamstrings. Enjoying the way your breath feels. And then finding a lunge. Perhaps for today, since we're going to try this with our eyes closed, take your right foot a little further out to the right so your stance feels a little wider than you normally make it. And then slowly, first just come off the ground or your blocks. Stay kind of low. Let your hands reach toward the ground. Find your ground. And then slowly, slowly coming up. Breathing deeply, eyes can stay soft and closed. If you're ready, you can bring your arms up. If that makes your balance a little off, keep your arms down or slowly start to bring them in different positions. Maybe out to the sides, maybe palms to your heart. Pay attention to all the principles that we know in this pose. So stable lumbar spine, use your core, finding breath. Release your hands back down. The blocks are there. I promise they haven't moved. And we're going to take a twist here. So either put your left hand on a block. Now, because we're messing with vision a little bit, I would keep the block on a low height. So the lowest height. If you need more height, stack 2 blocks on top. When your balance is a little off, if you have your hand on a wobbly tall block, you're more likely to lose this connection with that block and have instability. So if you need extra height, 2 blocks, one stacked on top of the other. Let's twist and open up to the right. Now in this pose, we often want to gaze somewhere. What happens when we lose our vision in the gaze? Can your heart gaze up? Can your hand gaze up? Can you let that back left thigh lift? Is the spine staying long? Exhale, and bring your hand back down onto the ground. Bring your back knee onto the ground. Come back into child's pose and notice how nice it feels. To just kind of curl into a little ball here and have the earth really close by. Come up onto all fours. Move through a cat-cow. Feel for your blocks. Take the short edges of the blocks next to each other. So the 2 blocks are stacked and we're next to each other. Put your elbows, one on each block. And then stretch back towards child's pose again and take your thumbs toward your spine. So we're just opening up our shoulders, our armpits a little bit more. And if you need a little extra height, curl your toes under. Find your breath. Try not to sink your armpits toward the ground, but stretch your hips away from your elbows. And then come back out of there. Readjust onto all fours. Know where your blocks are going. Maybe a little bit of a cat-cow. Maybe a little bit of movement in your breath. All right, come onto your shins. Inhale, lift your arms all the way up. And then exhale and bring your hands onto the blocks. Take your left foot in front, come to a lunge. Back knee stays down on the ground. Find your breath. When you kind of get organized with being in this position, bring your hands up onto your knee. Notice that you have to work a little harder for your balance here with your eyes closed. Root into the four corners of your foot. Hug your front foot and back knee toward each other and hug to the midline and pound your foot into the earth. Notice if this helps your balance. Pay attention to the angles of your pelvis so we're not moving into a deep anterior tilt. Perhaps your tailbone needs to descend and your pubic bone needs to lift. Reach the arms up. Notice this bit of crescent lunge here. Knee is still on the ground. And then we'll bring our hands to the inside edge of that left foot. You can adjust where your foot is at. Hands can be on the ground or on blocks. Curl your back toe under when you're ready. No rush to lift that knee off the ground. Runner's lunge. Wide sit bones, wide collarbones. Hug your knee toward your armpit or your arm or wherever it's touching. Okay. And then let's put the knee down just so you can find your blocks again. Bring your hands onto the blocks. Adjust your foot back if it went somewhere. Come up to a lunge. Open your chest. Let's start to move. Bending and straightening the front knee here. Finding the movements through your breath. Notice if your practice, besides being a little maybe irritating because your eyes are closed, notice if there's something else growing within you, some other awareness growing within you. And the more we can practice this Pratyahara, to the place of discomfort, the more, we set the tone for comfort around closing our eyes periodically. All right, so drop into your lunge. Inhale, and remember, you can always take your left foot out to the left a little bit more if you need to for, having a little broader base of support can help the balance. Start low. I think it helps to have my hands pointing straight toward the ground at first. So I just still have that ground connection. As I lift my body up, my hands keep pointing down. And then once you're in an upright position, you can keep your hands rooting toward the earth if you want, if that's a nice stable place to be, or perhaps you're lifting your arms up in the air. And it's okay to, open your eyes a little bit. So remember, there's no rules, but just pay attention to how things feel, depending on what your choices of vision are. Breathing deeply. Release your hands back down onto the blocks. And you can take one block under your hand. You can stack two blocks under your hand. Just whatever, your hand can be on the ground. Whatever choice you're making, you just want to make sure that whatever your hand is on is super stable. Okay, lifting into a twist here. Inhale, opening up to the left, shoulders away from the ears, collarbones stretching wide, sit bones stretching wide. Keep lifting the right hip as you drop the left. Exhale and release your hands back down onto the ground and find a dog pose. Feeling that lift and lengthen through your body. Head melts, softening. And then walk your feet forward, come to Uttanasana. Inhale for a halfway lift. Melt again. Rising all the way up. Arms to the sky, bring your feet to touch. Chair pose, squatting down. Take your thumbs and put them at the inner corners of your eyebrows and press up. Finding breath, and then travel your thumbs along your eyebrows for a moment. Just give your eyebrows a little bit of a massage. Repeat it again if you want. We're in chair pose. And then reach your arms up, up, up. Find that fullness. We're going to twist here. Deep breath. Coming to the right. Opening up. Inhale. Back up. To the left. Back up. Up onto your toes. And then, whoa, that's hard with eyes closed. Put your heels back down. Okay. Shake things out. Wiggle your body. Give a good bounce. All right, let's softly open our eyes. And just notice how nice it is to look around. And actually, try not to look around. Find a softening of your gaze on a point, that dristy gaze. Nice and relaxed. Your eyes might feel heavy. You might feel the need to do a lion's pose with your face, like stretching out your whole face, opening your jaw, looking straight up for a moment, taking your tongue down. Ah, and then relax. Okay, let's move through vinyasa. Soft, comfortable gaze. Inhale, rising up. Let your vision look up. Exhale, follow what your body's doing with your eyes. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Spine is long. Are you enjoying your vision? Exhale, melting back down. Step back, dog pose. Extend through the spine. Feel the heaviness in the head. Relax the eyes in their openness. Inhale, forward into a plank. Holding yourself steady. Breathing deeply. Spine the ground all the way to the earth. Roll the shoulders, lift to a back bend. Could be cobra, could be something else. Melt and fold. Move your blocks forward, way above your head so they're out of the way. Let's take your left knee high up toward your armpit. Take your right arm, cross it over to the left side of your mat, twist open. Let your eyes be open. Turn your gaze toward your left hand. Big breath here. And then come back around. Follow your gaze. Changing sides. Right knee up high toward your armpit. Left arm crosses over. Twist open. Turn your gaze to look out over that right hand. Notice how your gaze is very concentrated, that we're using our vision purposefully to kind of be in our practice, that we're not just gazing at everything around, taking in too much. We're taking in a pinpoint of concentrated attention. Back to center, look at the ground, arms out wide like a V, palms on the ground. Inhale to a back bend. Exhale, lower your gaze. Up onto all fours, move the spine around. Keep your attention through your vision. A cat-cow, where does your vision rise up to? And as you exhale, rounding in, can you gaze toward your center? Come to a flat back, curl your toes under, and lift to a dog pose. Soft gaze. Notice this is a place where we often have a tendency to want to close our eyes. So now soften your gaze. Keep them open. Soften your gaze. Where are you looking? Is your neck at ease? Are you rooting well? Are you rising well? Are you breathing well? Let's walk our feet forward, keeping the gaze soft. Follow the gaze with your movement to halfway lift. Exhale and melting down. Inhale, rising up. Arms to the sky, look up. Exhale, tracing down through the center. Are you able to discipline your vision to stay with your postures? Inhale, lifting eyes up, arms to the sky. take a wide stance. Turn your toes out, come deeply into a forward fold with your legs wide squat. Let your vision follow the movements. Drop into the four corners of your feet. Extend the spine. All right, inhale, come all the way back up. Wide stance, reach the arms up, look up. Bring your palms together. We're going to follow the gaze down into a goddess. Follow your hands. And inhale. Hands go up, legs straighten. Exhale. Dropping into goddess pose. Inhale. Straightening the legs, arms coming up. Follow your hands with your vision. So you can use your vision in a pratyaharic way, where our vision becomes a controlling, not a controlling, but we can use our gaze for meditative purposes. We can let our vision be a matter of harnessing concentration instead of distraction. Stay in your goddess pose. Make your fingers, your index fingers and your thumbs touch with, like a diamond shape or a spade shape between your hands, and just gaze into that space. So we're looking downward just a little bit. Feel the four corners of your feet. Keep your chest lifting. Try not to fall toward the ground. Soften your gaze. Inhale, come all the way back up. Arms coming high. Parsvakonasana, we'll do one each side. Where's your vision going? Start with a little Virabhadrasana first. Gaze out over your fingertips. Let's hang out here actually for a little bit. This is a great place for your vision to find a way to that pinpointed and concentrated softness of concentration. And then as you find Parsvakonasana, use your vision, follow your hand. And then maybe your head wants to turn back wherever your gaze goes, or maybe this is a good place to close your eyes again and feel that internal sensing. Come back up. Wide stance. Let's bring our hands down to our thighs. Turn your leg to your left foot out. Your right foot can be straight or turned in. Deep breath in, Virabhadrasana. Let your vision, soft vision, like your eyes are still in that, like imagine you still have your hands on your eyeballs. That softness that can you create it here with your eyes open. Gazing out over your finger, your middle finger or all your fingers. Breathing well. And let's turn this into Parsvakonasana. Where's your vision going? Maybe once you're in the pose, you want to close your eyes again and feel the grounding of the eyes closed, that sense of internal perception growing. Now we're focusing a lot on what our eyes are doing in this practice, but really every yoga practice, we can have the gift of this kind of removal to draw attention inward, and then using our vision in a concentrated, soft way. Come back to wide-legged stance, arms coming up, and then turn your feet forward and come to Pasrita. Let your eyes close again. Hands can come on the blocks if you want them to be, or they can be on the ground. Feet are pointing forward, long spine, melt your head. Turn back to the front of your mat. Find your way to dog pose. Long, spacious spine again. Breathing deeply. When you're ready, coming forward, plank pose. Lowering yourself down onto your belly. Choose a back bend, any back bend that you want. Inhale, where's your vision? Are your eyes closed or is your gaze soft and concentrated. Come up onto all fours. Feel your way around, wagging your tail, and then coming back towards child's pose. So sometimes when we take some time to close our eyes, and then when we open them, we have a little bit more capacity to use this quality of a drishti. You know, we use that word a lot, like a gaze point. And hopefully you're sensing in your practice that a gaze point, whether in meditation or in a moving meditation like yoga, or when you're listening to somebody, when you're viewing beauty, whatever it is, if you can soften your gaze point, it can be a very nourishing thing to rest the mind. That our mind can be restful upon something when our gaze is steady and soft. Yeah, let's come onto our back. Breathing deeply. Maybe your eyes can close again here. This is a natural position to want to close the eyes. So notice if it's a little easier than when we were doing the standing poses. Feet are grounding. Relax the shoulders. Notice if there's an ease of being able to feel the ground. Okay, Shavasana's not yet. We still have a couple more poses to do. But notice if your access to feeling the ground has shifted because of the work that you're doing with your vision. All right, let's go ahead and come into a bridge pose here. Ground the four corners of your feet. Inhale, lift on up. You do you as far as what you want to do with your arms. Keep your neck neutral. If you want to open your eyes, gaze right down your chest. See your belly rise and fall with your breath. Keep your eyes closed. Whatever feels good. Ground the four corners of your feet. Open up your shoulders. Feel your back body work for the posture. Exhale and release your pelvis down. Adjust your body and have a little bit of moment where we're windshield wipering our knees. And then we're going to find our way over onto our side for pigeon pose. If you want to stay on here on your back and do reverse pigeon pose, by all means. When we come into this posture, I'll do pigeon pose, I'll cue pigeon pose, but either one is good. If you need props, grab your props. Let's take our right leg forward and come into a pigeon. See if you can keep that soft gaze point if your eyes are open, or let your eyes close. So recognize that our vision can be purposeful, that we can gaze upon something with a lot of reverence and presence. Any sense brings us into the present moment awareness if we're aware of noticing what that sense is noticing. Like I said earlier, we get so used to everything that we sense that our acuity toward it lessens. So that pratyaharic state, when we come out of that pratyahara, we have a renewed sense of awareness, the exquisite beauty that can be around us. Wide sit bones. Our senses can help us in that present moment awareness that we're always in search of, that our breath takes us to, that we're always searching for in our yoga practices, developing present moment awareness. So notice the use of your vision in the way we've been doing is helping you create that as well. Full breaths. If your forehead is resting on a block, let the pressure give you some ease across those eyes. You can even roll your forehead on the block so you get a little massage right above your eyebrows. Come out of this pose gently. If you're on your back, switch sides. Once you get yourself situated in your pigeon, lengthen your spine, your gaze open or gaze closed, whichever you're doing. Let your head rest upon a block or on something. Feel the length of your spine. Settle into the ease of the weight of your head, whether it's the back of your head resting on the ground or your forehead resting on the block. Try not to shrink your spine and hunker. See if you can lengthen and find more space. And again, if you'd like, you can rock left and right on that block with your forehead right above your eyebrows. And if you're on your back, you can do a little rocking of your head if you want, or just let it be at ease. Find your way out of this pose. We're all going to come onto our back now. One more time with the twist that we usually do at the end that we kind of, well, we didn't do this twist. We did a different twist in the beginning, but feet down on the ground before you begin. Eyes closed. Can you feel the energy of your feet? Can you feel the texture below your feet? All right, let's move the hips over to the right. Pick up your knees and drop them to the left and twist open. Now, as you do this, open your eyes and gaze along your fingers. Breathing deeply, softness in your gaze. You don't have to strain your vision. Back to center. Neutral, feel neutral. And then we'll go the other way. Shift your hips, knees up and down, and then over to the side and turn your head. Gaze out over your fingers. If you spend a lot of time on a computer, remember the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, gaze 20 feet in the distance for 20 seconds. And this will help eye strain from always looking at a computer. Consider red light glasses, where you take some of that very offensive blue light away. A lot, especially at night, if you're doing a lot of eye movement work on a computer, or on a TV screen, or on a phone, or on any device that's shining light at your eyes. Having glasses that have red or blue light blocking, or set your devices to be in red light mode after about 7 p.m. can do a lot to decrease the strain on your eyes. All right, come back to neutral. One more time, feel that neutral. Let's softly come into Shavasana. And as you do, if you want to start with your hands on your eyes after you get your body where it wants to be, maybe put a little of that palm pressure on your eyeballs again. Melt the base of your skull. Your arms releasing down, coming into a relaxed place. If you do struggle with keeping your eyes shut in Shavasana, I highly recommend an eye pillow to help you remember the comfort. Sometimes having that little bit of weight, like our hands just were doing, can be very helpful for letting the eye muscles relax. So if you struggle, eye pillows are beautiful. Find your breath. Soften your face, starting at your eyes, melt through the lids, and then go backwards. Melt through the back of your eyes, the sides of your eyes. The whole skull relaxing. Base of the skull relaxing. As you relax the base of your skull, unlock your jaw and your tongue. And notice the impacts of these on the muscles of your eyes. Feel ready? And you can start to move a little bit, wiggling your fingers and your toes. Be very slow in your transition out of Shavasana today. Maybe turning your head one side and then the other. Maybe drawing your thumbs across your finger pads. Melt again into the ground and let your body relax. Slowly rolling over onto your side. Take a breath here. And when you're ready, slowly bring yourself upright. Maybe your eyes are still closed. Maybe you're ready to start opening your eyes as you slowly come up to sit. So we'll be very gentle with our kind of coming out of this pratyaharic state. Bring your hands together at your heart when you're upright. Maybe let your eyes close again. Send forth our loving presence to another. Just the hands very slowly. Open your eyes and notice if your eyes feel different, if there's a quality of not wanting to look around, if you really want to kind of keep the quiet of your vision alive for a little bit longer. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Blessings on your day.